Hello and welcome to That British Homestead. My name's Nick and today I'm planting out all my chitted tomatoes. So I have here a load of cocoa core, and this cocoa core basically is organic and it's wonderful, and I'm going to use this tweezers to take out my chitted tomato seeds. I have a ton of different seeds here. I've just made myself some labels because I was just basically too lazy to go down the garage. And I have these tomatoes that have sprouted. So, we've got, start off with rainbow beefsteak. It's a really nice variety. Let's see if it's germinated. Yeah, one of them has germinated. So what I'm going to do with the back of my tweezers, I'm going to go ahead and make a little hole. Like so, and very gently put the tomato in there. You want the root to be completely, utterly covered. The little shoot's fine because that's where it gets its photosynthesis from, so the light won't damage it, but the root will be damaged. There's one more seed, hasn't germinated yet, so I'm just going to leave it to carry on. Rainbow's really beautiful. It's a huge beefsteak and it's gorgeous. It's got all different sort of fire colours in it, which is really nice. So next one is Afternoon Delight, also germinated. So Afternoon Delight has a yellowy orange bottom and has dark shoulders, so it's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of those variegated tomatoes. I love a tomato variegation. So as you can see, it has germinated. There, you can see it. Now I checked these just the other day and there was absolutely no germination on them. I pulled out all the ones that had germinated, and of course they've all germinated wonderfully since then, which is good. Right, so we put him in. There we go. So this one here is called Red Cherry. It's a normal red cherry tomato, very small. It's similar to the ones you get at the supermarket. As you can see, one has germinated. I'm getting like 50% germination rate at the moment, but it is early. These are really great. I am hoping both of these germinate because I plan to give one away to my mum. So start those for her, but it's okay, it doesn't matter. I've got lots of other cherry tomatoes. So Red Cherry is that one there. So chitting tomatoes like this really does increase the germination rate. Not just that, but I know that every single one of these cells are going to have a tomato in it. Okay, I've done so many years where I've put it into soil and I've waited and waited and waited and waited, and by the time I've realised that they haven't actually germinated, I've absolutely wasted the season. So I've had to go and buy starts, or I've started off with smaller tomatoes than I actually wanted. Now, saying that, before I used to use rock wool as my medium for germination. Works really, really well. However, it is expensive. I had to buy it every year, which was a bit of a pain, and I had to collect them and put them in landfill at the end of my growing season. They are really bad for the environment as well, because you have to heat up the rock really, really high to make a rock wool sort of consistency. Also, if you left it for a long period of time, they'd dry all the way completely out. So it wasn't the best combination that I found. So I moved on to this method after being disappointed, because I really, really, really don't want to go through a season without any tomatoes, or the tomatoes I want to grow. Okay, so the next one we're going to be looking at is Blonde Coffagin. So it's a German variety. You see that? One of them has started to sprout. So Make a little hole. This is a really cool variety. It is a variety that has really, really heavy trellises of white tomatoes. So it is a really, really lovely variety. And they produce lots of little white tomatoes that are super sweet, but like massively abundant, which is really cool. So it's nice, it's gonna look real nice next to them. They're obviously gonna go in the basket together. This was a red cherry and this was a white one. So it's gonna all look amazing. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm actually like picking my tomatoes, I'm constantly thinking, which ones do I have already? What's gonna look good together? And I'm just really excited about those like different like colour profiles. Obviously the flavour profiles as well. It's really exciting. Ah, one of these have germinated as well. This is called a chocolate pear. Chocolate pears are super nice. They are that pear-shaped tomato, and it's red, but it's really dark on top. It's variegated, and you know I like a variegated seedling. Right at the end, make a little hole. And I'm going to take him. This is the sort of way that I actually like transferring them. Okay, you see how it's really easy to come off? That is like ultimately what I want them to look like when I'm going ahead and moving them over. I don't actually want them to be a big tangle, because if they're a big tangle, then I'm going to go ahead and break their roots, which we don't want to do. We're doing this to improve germination, not to go ahead and lose our tomatoes. Next one is Blue Beauty. Blue Beauty is one of my favourite tomatoes. Blue Beauty, Black Beauty, they're all gorgeous. This is a dark blue variety that's variegated. Blue Beauty and the Beauty range of tomatoes, I personally feel if you're getting into heirloom varieties, I personally feel they're really good to get into because you don't have any splitting with them, and they're very, very good looking varieties. Kind of super easy to grow. They're about this big, and they've got dark shoulders, and they've got really, really dark red at the bottom. They're beautiful, almost purple. How many are germinated though? I think it's both. Yes, it is. You beauty. Okay, so as you can see, it's germinated. About tweezers. I tried to grab it by the seed head really gently, and this one has conveniently wound itself in to the paper, which makes it a little bit harder to go ahead and take out. This one has come off a lot easier, look at that. And look at its long tail. Do you see why it's a little bit difficult to go ahead and pull out? This one's called Artisan Blue Tiger. It's a new variety to me. I've grown the Artisan Tiger before, but never the Artisan Blue Tiger, so it's quite exciting. It is a larger like plum tomato with stripes down it. It is a very dark tomato, which is really good. I can see through that paper that both of them have germinated, which is super exciting. Like I said, with this method I normally get very close to 100% germination. Obviously some seeds will take slightly longer to go ahead and germinate than other seeds, which is completely fine. So once again, I'm picking them up by their seed, but really, really gently, and popping them into the little hole. And Blue Tiger, that's really exciting because you can't actually get a picture of those up online, so they must not be very, very common, which is very exciting, isn't it? So I'll be able to take lots of pictures of them in the summer. And this is going to be very darkly striped, hence the word tiger. This is the Azoika tomato, and this is a Russian tomato. This Russian tomato is very similar to the Brandywine. It is yellow and it's really, really low acid and really quite a beautiful tomato in my personal opinion. It's really great flavoured. And look at that long root that's developed there. It's done really well. I can see this one's germinated through the paper. This is Black Crim. This tomato is one of my favourite tomatoes. It's gorgeous. This is another one that I'd recommend if you went ahead and moved straight on to heirloom tomatoes. It is truly a beautiful variety. So the Black Crim comes from Crimea, and it does have a little bit of the splitting on it. So the tomatoes are roughly about that big. It's like quite dark on top and red at the bottom, but it does have splitting on it. And I know that some people are kind of off-put by the splitting of tomatoes. I personally don't mind. It's really superficial. It's a little bit like corking. on a pepper plant. As you see, it's already sort of, it's already sprouted, looks really great, so let's get it in. So we're just digging a little hole with our with our tweezers, and we're taking this, putting it in root down, and then we're going to be covering it up. It's really important to cover up the seedling on the basis that if the light gets to the root, it will burn it. So this one's called Sweet Aperitif, a bite-sized cherry tomatoes, but the thing that stands out about this is in taste test, it comes out sweetest in most tomato taste tests. So it's going to be an incredibly nice sweet one, good for the kids. So let's get this in. There we go, look how big the root is on that. It's ridiculous. This tomato is called Zabatek Pleated. It's a really beautiful tomato. So it is actually a tomato that's really crimpled on the top. It hardly has any seeds in it, in my humble opinion. It has a very mild to sweet flavour. You can grow it inside and outside. It's a really good all-rounder. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a little hole. Grab the long rooted system, as you can see, and pop it in. Next one is garnet. Garnet is a super popular variety because it's incredibly sweet and it is one of the best tasting tomatoes. It has a red bronze skin and it's super popular for its heavy cropping and its large bunches of tomatoes. Putting that tail side down, and then we're just really lightly burying it. Gold Crone is next. Gold Crone is known for its snacking variety. It is a yellow variety of tomato that's super sweet and really good for the kids. There we go. Next is Red Boar. One of these have germinated. Red Boar is a really great variety. It's got gold and red stripes and it's really, really, really beautiful. It's a new variety for us. It's a medium-sized tomato, about 100 grams. So this type of tomato is called yellow and black. Yellow and black is a cherry tomato. It's yellow and it has the variegation of having very, very, very dark colouring on its shoulders. It changes the light, so the more light that you get with the yellow and black, the darker the tomato will be. I found this one is quite acidic as a tomato, which is really surprising because normally a yellow tomato is really low acid, very, very sweet. So it's quite an interesting one to put into the flavour profile. Alright, Ace 55 is the next one here. Ace 55 is always a good one for us and I've seen it's already germinated. It's actually my mum's favourite tomato. It's very similar colouring and size to what you would get in Asda, alright? But the flavour is better. Oh, wrong side. So two of these have germinated. It is a very reliable variety as well. I've never had a problem with the Ace 55. It is a heirloom variety, as most of these are heirloom varieties, and we've been growing it for years and it's been great. I'm glad that both of these have germinated because that means I get one and my mum gets one. She only grows about 6 tomatoes. Gold Nugget is one of our absolutely favourite tomatoes. They're so good because they are so sweet. I find that these germinate so well. As you see, both of them have germinated, and they're also really resistant to blight, which I did not seen anywhere. My ones are. So I absolutely love this variety. I will be seed saving from them on the basis that they're absolutely wonderful varieties, and I will be harvesting these. Like, they really come into their own in like September, October, when all of the other plants have died off and these are still going. They're amazing. Both of them have gone ahead and both of them have gone ahead and germinated. This is a variety called chocolate stripe. This is actually one of the first tomatoes that I grew that were heirloom varieties. This was a absolutely lovely variety to have, and I think they taste amazing. These are one of my favourite tomatoes to grow. So chocolate stripe is a combination of red and green stripes. It is a larger tomato, about that, and they are really beautiful and really quite flavoursome. They're one that are quite, you know, there's one that really does stand out in the garden, so that's why I like to grow it. That, and it's just the flavour profile of it is absolutely amazing. Dr. Witchy. Ha! You can see Dr. Witchy has germinated because it's actually come out of its little packet. So we've got to be super careful with this one. Ah, dearie me. Yeah, both have germinated, so super careful with it. Dr. Witchy is a great American variety actually, and it actually, I found it watching an American gardener, and it is a very nice flavour. It's really like sweet, but in a in a really good sort of heavy tomato flavour. It's one of my favourites, and I keep saying that. That is very similar to Kellogg's, if you have Kellogg's, but I believe that this one is slightly darker than Kellogg's, which is a yellow tomato. No, I lied. Yeah, no. Yeah. Lovely. These are gorgeous tomatoes. These ones I like so much I'm actually going to grow at home because I don't want the blight to get them because they've got quite a long season to them. Dr. Witchies. These are yellow ones, sorry. You do get them in orange as well. Blue zebra is another variety from us. We've grown green zebra for years and white zebra. We've never done the blue zebra. It's really beautiful. It's got the same stripage, but it has that really shocking blue. I think this is a show-stopping tomato. I'm very excited about seeing this in the garden this year, mainly because of its colour and how beautiful it is. I think that it's striking. Okay, so this one is called Tigerella. This is a striped slicer that is about the size of a salad tomato. It is a really good variety. We've always had really good luck with this type of tomato. It's very similar to zebra varieties. There we go, it's a nice flavour and really super reliable. Okay, so this one is Reese's. It's actually a really interesting tomato. It's also called the travelling tomato, and it's got segments on it, and you can actually break up the segments so that you could eat one part of the segment if you were travelling in the olden days and keep the rest completely fresh. The issue I have with this one, to be completely transparent with you, is that the segments all ripen at different times, so you can get one that's like super ripe and split in and one that's still green. So I'm trying it again this year, seeing if that was just a fluke. This one is black cherry. It's one of my favourite tomatoes. It's a large cherry tomato. It's very dark in colour, but it is red and it is gorgeous. This is probably my favourite early tomato for cherries, but in the end of the season it does start to split, so that's when the other tomatoes start taking off and becoming their own. But this one is honestly sit down delicious. It's one of my absolute favourite cherry tomatoes. How long have you not paid attention for? Oh well. What I should have done is done one side cherries, one side beefs. Oh well, started now. Oh, terrible hiccups, have you noticed? Oh. Okay, so this is the Azoika tomato. It has a red block bronze. It has a red block. It has a red bronze skin, and